Hi. Okay, so quick little thing with noses because I know that had come up a little bit. I love noses because they're just like this fun, really structural part of the face. And when you begin to understand the forms for what they are, it's a lot easier when you go to work from photos or you're trying to draw things up yourself. That's the dog. The dog is throwing his toys down the stairs right now. He's bored. Okay, quarantine's getting to him. So the nose is really fun, and you've got this, you have this structure that it's built off of in the head with the nasal bone up here and the nasal spine down here. And the nose kind of comes out. So if you're thinking of that, that's like a side view of that, gaping nasal cavity that we all have there. Okay, and so then the nose comes off of that shape. It's quite fun, and it's this beautiful wedge. So you've got that, right? And then if you were to look at this from different angles, you have, like let's say straight on, if we were to really simplify those shapes, you have this shape that comes out here, and it's got this wedge on the bottom, and then these kind of flanges that come up the side. So when you think about this structure and you think about what you know about light hitting form and light, hitting here and then, creating shadows over here and you've got this shadow underneath the object, that's going to be a beautiful core shadow right there because that's the shadow on the object. And if you had light coming from here, then you're going to have a cast shadow that object is creating. So you can really use what you're learning with cubes and spheres and eggs and apply that to the structure of the nose. See this structure? Yay. And I wanted to share with you a few anatomy books that can tell you a lot about them. Bridgman is one of my favorite. This is Constructive Anatomy by George Bridgman. He was Norman Rockwell's anatomy teacher. I love his books because they focus on structure. So for instance, if you look at this, he's breaking the head down into these planes and into these shapes and really seeing how those structures move through space. And then here is where he breaks the nose up into a bit more detail and the different angles going on there and these different more detailed shapes. So that's kind of fun. Another one that I really like is, we've got even another page of noses. So these books are actually in the public domain because they are pretty old. So you can get PDF downloads of these for free. And one of the reasons I do like Bridgman is because there's no nudity in there. So I feel pretty confident recommending them. Andrew Loomis is another great one for learning any kind of anatomy. Also in the public domain, you can get PDFs of all of his books. A lot of them do have nudity, so depending on how you feel about that, they might not be for you. But this one is drawing head and hands. So this one is going to be just head and hands, and then a lot of different structures inside of those. Wonderful book for learning all the anatomy. And clearly it's an anatomy in an artistic way, right? In the ways that kind of are applicable for us. So once again, he does a lot with structures, the different planes of the head, breaks them up a little bit different than Bridgman does, but super helpful. And he does these really fun things where he's got just pages and pages of all different kinds of nose shapes and kind of caricaturized people. And it's just very fun. And he goes through, what the children's heads would be like. And then he's got a lot of beautiful drawings in the back as well. So he was a phenomenal illustrator, also from the Golden Age. So we can learn a lot from him. And again, these are things, and then these beautiful hand renderings. These are things that we can really learn a lot from and then, apply them to the way you like to work. And this is a more in-depth anatomy. I love, this is probably my favorite one. There is nudity in this one, so you can just kind of pick and choose. But this is just an example of this is the way he breaks down shapes. So for instance, this is the ear. And I love that he's kind of showing that it's kind of like this wedge shape coming out from the head. You see that? A lot of times in church, I sit in the back and I draw all the ears and the way they come off of people's heads. It's a really fun thing to do. You should listen to, and I take notes, but drawing ears is really, really fun. I learned a lot that way. And you'll see some of them stick out more at the top, and then some of them have the wedge shape and they're kind of coming out more at the bottom. Some just come out, you know, the whole thing. It's fascinating. I can never get enough of that. But this one also has these beautiful renderings of the different forms. I don't know if that's a gouache or what he's using, but that's a fun one. So happy drawing. If you want to really tackle learning something like noses well, or hands or whatever it is, or eyes, start with really good reference. The best way to learn is from a good reference. And then and by reference, what I mean is a photograph taken of your subject or from life, and do as many drawings as you can from that. So, and that's going to put the information in your head of what that is actually like, right? And then once you understand those forms enough, you can begin drawing from your imagination more and making things up and taking a lot more artistic freedom and license. For instance, with some of the commissions I do, I might not exactly get the angle that I feel is best, but to be able to manipulate the face and know what those structures are going to do makes all the difference in being able to use a reference. So work from life as much as you can. Use a mirror, use your friends and family around you if they are willing, and do some master copies as well. So I will reference some of these things in our class so that you can look them up. Master copies are a phenomenal way to learn a subject. So challenge yourself to be like, I'm just going to flat out do noses all week, even if it's 5 minutes a day. And your understanding of noses is going to dramatically increase, and it's going to be fun. So I'm going to post a few images with this video to end on of some of the noses that I've been painting lately. It really is a lot of fun to paint noses. So hope you guys have, hi Marty, hope you guys have a wonderful weekend.